Well, hello, hello. Thanks so much for hopping on tonight to our Impact Academy team huddle. We have moved to Monday night. So we have been kind of been told to us that if we have FIBCs on our team, that we should be doing our own team huddles instead of being on Jamil's. So that's why we're going to be on here. So if you guys want to be on Jamil's, I know he's not having one tonight. That's totally your choice, but this is when we're going to be holding ours from now on, which is also going to allow you another free night for Tuesday nights so that you can get into action. So we have 5 days left, you guys, of December for the December dash. And that is really super important to get yourself going. Does everybody understand how the dash works? If you don't, drop a 2 in the comments. If you understand how the dash works and you can, drop a 1 in the comments just so that we know that you guys know how to do that. Everybody, let me see. I haven't seen, nobody's dropping anything. I'm going to say 1 for me. I'm going to assume that you guys know what is going on with the winter dash. But if you don't, then just let us know. So Monica and I were talking today, and we were really kind of going over what are some of the things that you guys may be questioning or wanting to know. I'm going to go ahead and start our slideshow. Let me see, Monica, do you want me to start the slideshow right now? Or do you want to go through something else first?
No, that should work because we can talk about those, those common things that we hear, I think.
Okay. Now let me see, share my screen.
So obviously, or not obviously, but what we're going to be discussing is how to have conversations more fluidly. And there's obviously the 2 most common questions that we see most often. So we thought we'd share them with you and actually give you some responses. So that way there's no question about how to navigate through those calls or those convos, and then steering them towards a conversation on health.
So I'm not going to put it into presenter mode just in case I lose everything and I can't see everybody. So basically we're talking about responses. So a couple of the things that we're talking about was like, sometimes we hear like, do you respond to the same people or the new likes that are coming up? So sometimes you're going to have people liking and liking and liking, and you wonder, do I keep saying the same thing? Do I keep saying the same thing? Well, you know what? If they're taking the time to like on your post, it's like they're, acknowledging you in the grocery store. And you don't want to be rude and like all of a sudden, well, I've already said hi to you, so I'm not going to say hi to you again. They're obviously something is they're trying to support you in one way or another. Either they're interested, they know somebody, or they're just interested in supporting you. And then you can give them some sorts of instructions from there. So do I respond repeatedly to the same people or just the new likes that come up? Thank every like that comes up. If someone's liking every post, have fun with them and thank them each time, and then say, and this is where you try to have a little fun. Wow, 5th like today. You must be ready to join my team if you like me this much. Ha ha ha. Something really cute like that, because you never know what's going on in someone's world. They may be just looking for friendship. They may really admire what you do. They may be curious. They want to join you. They want to do the program. They want to help people. You just never know. And if it's not a health post, what are you saying to them? So, Monica wrote down, thanks for liking my Santa shirt. I really love teaching, like whatever it is. How was your holiday? Did you do anything unusual or exciting? So that's, you want to ask them a couple questions because they're going to answer one of them. And then any health goals for the new year. Okay. That way you are opening it up to see if there's any curiosity. If they are interested in health goals, that will probably be the response that they give you. They may not answer all of the questions, but they may ask some. And so that will help you to guide it closer to a health assessment, because you're listening for that gap that they have. And like they said, how this could benefit them. This is kind of like what they were talking about on the last call. So I'm going to share some examples, and then I'm going to let Monica talk after I share these examples on here. So here's an example of somebody that I was just answering in my stories. Whoops, sorry. So this, okay, let me, all right, these are a little bit rearranged. Hold on. All right. So she responded to my my story. You look so beautiful in the AM. Thanks, love. What a nice thing to say. Merry Christmas to you. How was your holiday? Are you doing anything fun for the new year? Christmas was wonderful. New Year's is still up in the air. How about you? Kind of up in the air for us too. Let me go back to this one. Here's where we were. And then she said, your videos are inspiring and always positive. I'm afraid it might cost a lot of moolah. In the past, I've invested in a diet. See how she's brought this over to what her goals are? That means failed financially and physically. I like the idea of your morning routine. I also get up before the birds. And when I follow you, you help me feel not so alone. Who is up at 4 a.m., right? We will keep in contact. My birthday is coming up. I could ask to join you. Okay, so she's been watching, she's paid attention to my stories, this is why it pays to live out loud. When I think, oh my gosh, I'm going to post another picture of my water and my vitamins and my coffee and my brownie. Like, isn't this getting old? Not really, because I'm inspiring somebody. They're watching that morning routine. Did you want to say something, Monica?
Yeah, I'm just curious if anybody heard in that encapsulation you just gave, which is beautiful. This woman gave us some tremendous insight into the gap. We're teaching you guys in this Impact Academy how to connect the dots in their gap, right? This woman told us her gap. This woman told us her pain point. This woman told us her fear. This woman told us her desires. I'm wondering if you heard it, and can somebody share what you heard and how you would steer this conversation to help on that right there? Can anybody do that? And this is a skill, so you can't get it wrong. I just want to know.
I mean, if nobody's going to speak, I can speak. I mean, what she told Melody was that she's been following her. She's been following her morning routine. And she's also been telling her or told her that where she failed and why she failed. And she even took it a little further because she's talking about finances now. So like when she fails, it's costing her money to fail. And so she wants to join Melody. I mean, she's saying that. She wants to stay in contact with Melody. Like, she's literally begging Melody to not stop doing what she's doing because she's consistent. She's posting every single day what her routine is. And that's how we get the repetition. People used to our repetition. People that want to see that repetition will follow that repetition. So this is brilliant.
Amen. So that's exactly what I heard. She loves Melody. She follows Melody. She's inspired. Your things are inspiring and you're up with me. Woohoo, who's up with me? But I'm scared of the cost and I've failed at these things before. That's exactly what she said. So guess what? Mel has a super fan who has this fear of spending money and failing. So that is her gap and her pain point. So Melody, being a great listener and being empathetic, is going to be consistent. Don't stop that because she likes that, but also be nurturing and say, oh girl, dude, I totally understand the finance part, but really I'm spending like $12 a day. Like, even if I wasn't perfect, I'd spend that money anyway, or something like that. Like, you've got to find your language. I cannot stress that enough. Find your words. Barbie is wonderful with words and her tone is, she's great. But what you need to get good at is finding the gap and steering through that combo. So thank you for that example, Melanie. I just wanted to pull that out.
Absolutely. So what I did was she actually messaged that like right before our community call. So I gave her a little bit of an overview and then I actually dropped in the community call. Now, the cool thing about dropping in that community call is even though it says live now, that's still going to be a live link. Okay, she's going to be able to go back there and I can say, hey, that's a live link. You can still watch that. So she can get a little bit. Now I'm going to go back and, touch on her and offer that free health assessment and say, hey, let's just go ahead and take a look at what that is. So we were talking, and this is all about ratios. This is all about ratios because what I did was I sat there, Monica and I were sitting, we were talking, and we're like, okay, I'm going to go on my stories and I'm just going to send the same thing, pretty much, addressing it to the different person about my stories, thanking them for whatever I said. I think I said, hey, Patty, Merry Christmas. How did you spend your holiday? So I didn't even really say anything about the story. I just used that as an opportunity to open up a conversation. So it was just me and my husband and my daughter. I think actually that might be her husband in the background. I can't see in the little tiny picture, but I just opened that up. So it just means that we're just looking to open up a conversation because I've talked to this person in the past and I know that she has been on program before. And so it's just about keeping those conversations. The people who are showing up are the people that they're going to remember when they are ready to do this. So let's see. This is just a picture of all of us. Did you want to touch on this one, Monica? Or just to show us as a community?
Which one? Oh,
This-
no, those are accidents. So you can stop there.
Okay. All right. So let me stop the share. So here's all that we are saying. We're saying that you guys start the conversations. Here's something I was also taking some notes on a previous podcast that I was listening to. And customer services, 75% is retention. 75%. So one of the things you want to focus on is customer service. So your customer service is what? Your client support. Okay. You're going to get referrals from people talking about how amazing that you are. That is where you're going to get referrals. So your people may not even be responding to you, but just keep doing that because that's where you're going to have your fans coming in. Just like showing up on social media, just like showing up, which is why, Dawn and Monica and I love the Reach app because it helps us to be consistent in showing up weekly in a time efficient way because we don't have. Go ahead, Monica.
I just want to stress the importance of a call. A text is not okay. Barbie can testify that the reason why she's still here is because God dang it, I would not stop calling. I mean, every couple of weeks, I just drop a call like, hey, what's up? You need anything? And Dina can testify. I would not stop dropping the links for her to find when she was ready to get on the call. So it's, you guys, leaders eat last. That just means you're not going to get thanked. You're not going to get congratulated. You're probably going to feel like this is all for nothing. But I promise you, when the timing is right for your person, they will grab onto that and use it, but not if you stop sending it. So I cannot tell you how many people, and Barbie's so sweet, said recently, and I've heard this a lot. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for not giving up. So they will say that to you eventually. Thank you for not giving up on me. So calls, you guys, don't text. How was week 17? That's so impersonal, anyway.
Yeah, and what I was going to say, Monica's right. So I am trying to be more consistent on it. They did not respond to setting up an appointment to check in. I'm going to, on Wednesdays, give them a call. Because I do want them to know that it is not all about texting, but I can tell you that text that I'm sending them has a calendar link. I am trying to empower my clients to take charge of their journey. And not all are going to do it, but we just want to be as professional as possible so that they look at us as professionals. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to grow through it, and just make sure that you don't try to be too perfect, because nobody's going to think they can do what you do. So if you do mess up and you didn't check in that week, don't abandon ship on them. Okay, just go back and say, my gosh, time got away from me or whatever. My apologies. I just wanted to connect with you. How did your week go? Find out what their goals are. Find out who's been watching them. Find out who wants to join them. Start scheduling those celebration calls. Celebrate them. I mean, where else can you go out and get food, get healthy, get celebrated, get support, and be spending the same amount of money that you currently are already spending? It's not going to happen.
So I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So calling them, okay, I have a couple of clients where I have called and they just don't pick up. Like even going over the leaning greens, like she just does not want to see my face. Or, I mean, I'm serious. She just does not, or they just don't answer. Do you schedule it? Because even though I have scheduled it, they just ghost me all the time.
Dawn, do you want to answer that? You're pretty good at that part. You're muted.
Sorry. I mean, I realistically, I want to have everybody scheduled, but you know, if they don't reply to me, I'm just going to call them when I'm free, because, you know, a lot of people do not reply to the, you know, the schedule. Or even I used to do like a standing time, and then calls would run over and then your time gets, you know, off schedule. So I just will randomly call on a free night that I don't have other calls scheduled. And yeah, I mean, realistically, you want them scheduled, but it doesn't always work that way. You go with the flow.
All right, I'm going to surprise them.
There
Yeah,
you go.
you do.
Usually if it's a surprise, you know, when it rings one time and goes to voicemail, you know what that means, right?
Right.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Yeah. So I
but
mean,
if you do get that, just be an encourager though. Like, don't take it personal. You still have to be optimistic. I know, Leah, you've had some people that yell at you, and I'm like, you gotta love them. You know, so even if they don't answer, it's just a, hey, you know, I was saving space for you today. We had this time, but it's cool. I know stuff happens. When you're ready to reschedule, let me know. I definitely am here to help you be successful. Bye. You know, and if they don't want that, then that's on them. But they could never say, Leah didn't try and help me be successful.
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
That's a great question though. Yeah, so you guys, sometimes they just, I've heard people say that I just listen to your message over and over and over. They'll save the message. You may not think they're listening, but they're listening to the message. They just didn't have a chance to hop on. So go ahead, Barbie.
So I'm sorry, I was trying to unmute myself, but I don't have my glasses on. Getting older is not fun, let me tell you. Anyway, just to kind of reiterate what on Leah's, a lot of times when they ignore you, they're going through personal struggle. And sometimes they're feeling like a failure because they probably made a mistake or they got off program. It's not that they don't want to talk to you. Just be consistent, reach out to them. And yes, I can attest to Monica, because me and Monica have gone back and forth over the test of time. She would constantly text me or message me, and I would ignore. And then finally I couldn't ignore anymore, and I would pick up the phone and call her back. And then there's times where I did the same thing to Monica, you know, she would hop off of our calls or get out of our group. And I was like, you can't do that. and I would put her right back in. So, you know, it's like, it's just holding each other accountable. It's personal struggles that they're going through. Don't take it personally. Yes, you are their coach, and just be a cheerleader and just be supportive, because it's the consistency that you do that no matter where they go, they're going to circle back to you.
And then the other thing you can do is, you know, if they're not answering you, you can
Yeah.
just send them something encouraging. Hey, I saw this recipe. I thought about you. I know that you said you're super busy. This crock pot recipe is amazing. You should try this. Hey, I found this water bottle because I know you were saying that, you know, you lost this one or you love this one, whatever. Just look for ways to stay connected, because that's going to build that trust and that loyalty. And so like the equation is education, trust, and loyalty. That's how you build good customer rapport. So you just want to stay with them, not be annoying, but like when you are there, that you're showing, you're giving them some sort of value. Go ahead, Monica, sorry.
The Andy Francella thing that you brought up, the podcast. I want to just encourage you guys to find a podcast like. Personal development is so important. And so podcasts, you're going to ask people who. You guys just search motivational speakers, search network marketing, search public speaking, and somebody will pop up and you'll find a guru that you like. And I want to encourage you to start, because Melody and I, like, we find all this stuff, a lot of the stuff we talk to you about, we're finding from professionals that we're learning from on our own time. Right? So it's cool if you have stuff to share with us, but now with Andy Francella, and he's talking about customer servicing people, what we're talking about, right? Client retention, customer retention, and providing value. And so I don't know if this needs to be said, but I think it needs to be said. It needs to be said for me. A lot of times if they can't afford your program, you let them go. You're like, oh, well, when you're ready, and all you do is like, hey girl, thanks for liking my post. How was your holiday? Hey girl, cute kid picture. Where was that at? And you're telling me, well, I started combos. It's not going to health. So providing value, like, you guys need to know where all of our resources are. We have a habitsofhealth.com website, habitsofhealth.com. And habitsofhealth.com is a resource tab. There's this tab. There is a ton of links, guides, charts, graphs, emotional charts, food charts, shopping lists, recipe logs, you name it. So as you're talking to folks and having conversations, like when this woman says, gosh, Mel, I love your morning routine. I'm just so scared because I've spent money and wasted it before. She could say, girl, I have this exercise log it's super helpful. Keep track. Do you want me to send it to you? And she's providing a resource and a value and sending some stuff. And then she can come back next week and say, so did you use the resource log? How did that work out? And now it's not weird because she like genuinely had this connection with this person and sent them something. And she's just curious if they use. My point is, servicing them is something we learned from a podcast. So you can learn things from outside entities. We have resources that you can give them for free right now and build that trust, likability factor. So don't be afraid to just give them things. Invite them to the Monday night calls. That's free. You can invite them. Just because they're not a client, they can get on. And you can say, girl, I want you to get a taste of what I'm learning. It changed everything for me. Go ahead and hop on. Once you're ready and you can buy like the rest of the curriculum, you're going to love it. But for right now, get on the call. Girl, before you can get the curriculum, just go into the resources tab. This is how you're providing value.
Absolutely. And I'll just tell you, I'll just close with this. When I first became a coach and I was trying to figure out this, I got into, see, Dawn used to do MetaFast a long time ago. And when she first did MetaFast, they had these MetaFast chat groups that were on the MetaFast site and they didn't exist. So Dawn created one. And as soon as she created this, and I joined the group because I was like, oh, there's people on there I can learn. And like all these coaches, which Dawn didn't even know there was anything as a coach. She didn't realize any of that. And in my head, from a podcast I had listened to, because I've been listening to podcasts for that long, what I heard from Dave Ramsey saying on his EntreLeadership podcast was, give out so much free information that people are willing to pay for it. So all I would do would come into her room. I was like, her rule said, you do not pounce on people and try to get them, right? And I was like, well, I don't want to get kicked out. I'm going to use this room as practice. And I would look for somebody who had a problem and I would solve a problem. And I would look for the next person and I would solve a problem. They needed this, I would find the resource. I was like the person like, I'm going to find everybody who has a problem. I'm going to fix it for them as best as I could. And so when Dawn found out that she could get the box of fuelings cheaper by getting a coach, she chose me because she wanted the food cheaper. But she also chose me because I wasn't pouncing on people and I was providing value in her group. All that to say, that's how I started out. And it's really back to the basics, is look for problems that you can solve for people, no matter what it is. You know, somebody's looking for diaper coupons and you found like, oh, here's a site that has great diaper coupons. Whatever way you can reach them, it doesn't have to be anything to do with health. Just look for something and help them out. And then you will become valuable to them. And they will, when they're ready, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I've been watching Melody, I've been watching Dawn, I've been watching Barbie, and they're always showing up on their page. I need to find out what they're doing because I trust them. They've never tried to screw me before. I can trust them and I can ask them and I can try to move forward. So that's all I want to say is just become a professional problem solver and use the resources that we have because it's all there for us, you guys. But you can use other resources to solve other problems. But health-wise, man, we've got a plethora on that site, and you know, feel free to use that. Does anybody have anything that they want to add? I know that, like I said, we got 5 days left. Get with your mentorship team. Let them know how many coaches you want to bring on, how many clients you want to bring on, where you're running, and then study your ratios. If it like Monica and I were talking, sometimes you're gonna have to send out 15-minute messages to have 3 people respond. And that's what Brian Dollinger was talking about too. If you want 25 clients, man, minimum 100 messages, 100 minimum, probably more like 300. You know, that's what I would think. But there are people watching you. So, you know, figure out what that looks like per day and do that.
Yeah. And I know that the number is 300, but that's also like reminding me that I had, 300 pounds to lose. It's really, really big. So just like tonight, Barbie, it's 7:30 or 8:30 your time. Like, what could you realistically do? And just do that chunk, and work your way to 300 as opposed to like, oh my God, what's that minimum?
Absolutely. You guys, let us know what you need. We're here for you. Invite people to those calls. They're starting tomorrow. That New Year one is tomorrow. Events. Oh, you can't come that time? Here, what about this time? Oh, you can't come this time? What about this time? Well, you can't find what about this one? What about this one? Go into Coach Community on Facebook if you need to find the replays for the field leadership calls, the information about that. There's also a link which I'll drop that has all the information. It's a Google Doc. I grabbed it. As soon as we're off here, I will drop it in the chat if somebody else has already done that. And then just use it. Just keep inviting. Event. And I think that's all we got. All right.
All right.
Good
Thanks,
night, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.